Good evening, cadets. I am AU Shaw and I'll be an instructor for today's lesson. Distance by road, distance by range. We'll first begin with distance by range. This is the easier of the two. To find the distance by range, we have to identify the 2 points of interest. I have selected 2 points of interest to make things easier, and that would be the school at Gordon's Crossing as well as all the way to Wales Pond. Let me put it up. So this school at Gordon's Crossing all the way to Wales Pond. Actually, that's too far. I should probably make it closer just for the purposes of this lesson. The school in Gordon's Crossing, this school all the way to Ramble Pen right here. There isn't a specific conventional sign and symbol in Ramble Pen that I'm referring to as the second point of interest, but this is for the purposes of instruction. School to Ramble Pen. Shorter distance, easier to teach. So first we need a paper with a straight edge. We'll be utilizing this paper. We'll also be utilizing our scale, specifically the bar scale. So this one by range, pretty easy. I am going to mark off the school at Gordon Crossing here. Mark that off using a pencil, and my pencil is very sharp, so that's important. Very sharp to get as accurate of a measurement as possible. And then I'm going to mark off Ramble Pen. Now I'm just picking a random point here in Ramble Pen for the road. A random point here. A random point, specifically closest to the R. This is what I'll end up with. 2 points. That is between point A, or school in Gordon's Crossing, and Ramble Pen. Then we'll be utilizing the bar scale. We'll be pasting it on the bar scale. Placing it on the bar scale. Align it with the 0 mark, and we are going to determine the distance in meters. So I'm going to, looking at this, just eyeballing it here, it's at least 800, but we see that there's a little bit over right there. So I'm going to mark off first the 800. Yes, we've done that, and we see a little bit left. To gain the amount, the measurement, the amount in meters of this small distance, we'll go to what I call the mini scale, and we'll use these smaller graduation to determine the distance. So each graduation, as you can see, is valued at 50. So 50, 100, 150, 200. So I put it here, and it seems to be based on this. $75. So we have 800, and this small distance here, 75. We add that together, we have 875 meters. 875 meters. And this is the distance by range. So the distance by range between the school in Gordon's Crossing and a point I chose in Ramble Pen. Point of the road I chose in Ramble Pen is 875 meters. Now the distance by road requires a little bit more, but only a little bit. Straight edge. Now I have determined I'm going to use the same point that I used before, the school in Gordon's Crossing, as well as a point I chose in Ramble Pen. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at the road and I'm going to make a first initial point here. I'm going to hold the pencil like this. At least it's best to hold the pencil like this, and then I'm going to move the paper until it aligns with the road in a straight line, then make another marking there. So one mark here, another mark here. I'm moving the paper till it aligns with the road, and I'm mark there. Move the paper till it aligns with the road. Mark there. Move the paper. Point to note, if this paper shifts at any point in me doing this, my reading will be wrong. Move the paper till it aligns with the road in a straight line. Make a marking. 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 At the end of it, you should have points that look like these. These are the markings you make as you travel along the road. I'm going to do something similar. In fact, the exact same thing that I did with the distance by road, I'm going to put it against my bar scale, and I'm going to mark off as much. I'm going to mark off the meters, the maximum amount of meters based on the distance. So here we have our first 1,000 meters. So from the first point I made down to this, the last point, looking at the bar scale, the max, and then the maximum, we have our first 1,000 meters. But we have a little extra here. Let's see if we can get more. Yes, we can get more. So we have 200 here. meters. But we still have a small amount here. Now we're going to go to the mini scale and see what's that in distance. It looks like to be another 75 meters. So 75 meters. So 1,000 plus 200 plus 75, that's 1,275 meters. Here it is. However, we're not finished. For the distance by road, we're going to convert this meter into kilometer. So 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer. So we're looking at 1.275 kilometers. So the distance by road, difference by range for the points, the school in Gordon's Crossing to the point I chose in Ramble Pen is 875 meters. The distance by road, however, is 1.275 kilometers.